give you a false number. And, oh yeah, brother, my number is 513-671-2237. Hello, this is United Dairy Farm, Springdale. That ain't that, sister. Why would she lie to me when I bought a 9-3? Took her home, took her somewhere. You go back there and, no, that ain't our house, man. That's some old lady house. Oh. Sister just lied to me. She didn't lie to you. You lied to yourself because you believed everything that came out of her mouth. And your eyes told you, because the way she looked, you ignored everything she said and did with you. Because you wanted to have this accepted because it was smooth, because you thought you was a smooth operator. Now reverse that and deal with it in the understanding of the scripts. You've been lied to so daggone long, for thousands and thousands of years. We use the word Hebrew as a commonality of phraseology so that you can have a connection to us. But we're not Hebrews. We're Abarayas. But you wouldn't understand that if I said that. Now, so these ancient ones, or the Zakanas meaning as you term elders, seen the 70. Why 70? Why 70? What is 70? Come on. Now here's something that you need to understand. And I have been telling the class this since 1902. What do you need to understand? Yibiyah.
7 doubles.
Besides the 7 doubles, my brother. What do you need to understand? You're looking at it. The first gate. You need to understand the Aleph Ba'ayah. You need to understand the 22 letters of Ayah. In the so-called Psalms 119, they tell you, we know this in the ancient scripts, that there's really 118, which equals to 10. We know this to be a fact. So what the thing is we have to deal with where we are. In this understanding of where we are, we begin to understand how the concept is. We are getting ready to get into this dimension where we get ready to understand the level 0. Remember when we first started and we started talking about the so-called concept or where 0 is, and I showed you where it was. The level 0 had a name to it, and level 0 was called the what? Where Charles Kadash and Yimiyah were discussing one level where it was T or potato, tomato, tomato. And what is that term called? Tekufa. But when you break down Tekufa, it is really what? Come on. Just break it into commonality. Don't break it down otherwise. Ta what? Totality. But and also, in this totality of the essence, it is the Afta'ayah. It is the gate in which we go to. It holds the mysticism of understanding in the realm of concept so that you have 7 dimensions of thinking and 7 levels of approach. This is where it begins to take on the realm. And one of the things is, when you lack the female aspect, you have nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So there you are right there. So what happens is that when you begin to see these things, you begin to say, hey, I guess I must have it going on because I'm there. I need to label these puppies. Because I got a lot here, but I don't know what I got and where I want to go. In your book, I believe it's page 161. In your book, it says something about hard and soft. And in the hard and soft, they're talking about the sign indicated by a dot in the middle of the letter. Now, hold on for a second. You looked at the Hebrew. Did you see a dot in the middle of the letter? Help me to understand that now. Because I want you to know, was the dot in the middle of the letter?
What you had up there?
Yes.
No.
So where's the dot? They say in the middle of the letter. Yes.
Talk about in the ayan,
Ah,
because that's in the modern Hebrew, that represents the number 70.
that's correct. And that's what I wanted to explain to you.
Yeah,
That
that's right.
70 represents the ayan or ayana. And in the connection to the 70, it is also the gate. And in this gate, it doesn't whether or not you're hard or soft or whatever. It's more about connecting into the light of Ayah. And in the Ayan, which is there, it gets into that. But see, here is where you begin to understand how they have devised this. And they're saying, you've seen the Hebrew letters. And it says, the hard sound is currently indicated by a dot in the middle of the letter. It didn't exist in standard Jewish writings. It's on the bottom, but it's not in the middle of the letter. So it's hidden in the middle of the letter, just like it is with the yod being part of the letter structure. But we know that the black dot is Shekinah Ayah and the essence of things in being. Here's the thing. Before printing was introduced, in other words, before we start printing books, the manuscript also indicated the soft sound by the above the letter, known as the Rafah. All right? This device is used in the Keter Torah, okay? Written in the 9th century. All right? This is the codex of the Bible, dated from the year 916. 1418, this mark is found in handwritten Bibles and prayer books, okay? The use of this mark is identified in the Zohar, all right? And it states that the Rafah is above the letter like the firmament of the Kayat, that's in Ezekiel, etc. But what I want to show you in here is that these things that they're dealing with, the hard and the sound, were for this purpose. What was the purpose of this? It was not to deal with anything else. And everybody said, well, just the 7 double letters because it's hard and soft. Your book states this. However, since the Sefer Yitzhak teaches that the running and returning also relates to the meditative techniques, it would appear that the doubles would be used to climb the vertical lines in the tree of life, when the initiate would use the letters to run and climb the tree of life. And we had a class where we showed that that tree was all demonic gates. Remember the book? What was the name of the book? The Kabbalah. That the other class book. So now we know that they want you to run up and down. And here's something to give you a hint. The so-called Book of Job, which is the oldest book in the 66 collection, what they call the Bible, it states what? That the so-called Satan or the devil, he runs what? To and fro, right? So that's what he's doing. So you going and you go imitate Satan. And you go, the hard sound where he would turn, he would use the sound. And they state that this is what's going on. So now they're telling here that the Kabbalists know that the Dagosh and the Rafah are neither vowels nor letters, but intermediates between the two. And this is the intermediate essence that man must perfect if he's to center the domain of the soul, because it is part of the energy of the vowel system. So, there are no vowels. So if this dot and all this other dagish and rafah, that means that it's a gate that goes back and forth to the abyss. Oh, yeah. Oh, barashit, oh, barashit. That they do say that. I make fun of it, but the thing is, I want you to understand how you're dealing with this, because they know that these things that they're dealing with have been put in here deliberately to throw you off. And they know this because this is what they have done. In doing such, they know that you are out of range of where you are, and you are not in where you're supposed to be. In the connection to where you are, you're beginning to understand what you're not supposed to do.